Hello everybody. I want to show you something pertaining to the return of God's work that started coming through yesterday, how mind-blowing it was for me and how relevant it is for the end times. We are truly in the end of ways, the greatest reset of mankind, and yesterday that made a little bit more sense to me. So I talked recently about the starting of a 13-day Healing Ancient Hidden Wisdom Places workshop that Spirit called forth. I didn't really even know it was coming. They said we needed to do it, so I did. And yesterday started day one. Okay, so my name is Master Juniper Blue Mystique. I am an Ascension Master, a Master Healer, and a Divine Guide. Since 2019, I had a Kundalini awakening, and crazy stuff has been happening through me the entire time since then. And I do mean very important crazy stuff that does deal with the end of ways, the end of times, the prophecies being fulfilled, the return work, and all of that. And it all does truly play out on my YouTube channel, because the way my awakening occurred, I record everything I do. God had me do that, and now I know why. So yesterday, okay, so this number 13 is very relevant, and I want you guys to understand that. 13 is extremely relevant, and why? I'm going to show you why, okay? I'll show you a few relevant things, and then you can hear the workshop. So yesterday, we actually went right away. We started going somewhere. We went to Mesopotamia, okay? I had no idea where that was. I can tell you how it's going to relate to the work I've been doing, but Spirit's never called it Mesopotamia. I know I went to the Euphrates River before, and I also know I dried the Nile. I will show you where to find those as well, okay? They are very, very relevant to the return of God's work, to what happened in history. So we have been ancient hidden wisdom, right? Healing places, ancient places. And at first I thought we were going to just like run. I didn't know what that meant. I never do. But we went to it yesterday. Mesopotamia came through. I like all the pyramids that I've activated over the years were all present. And I started going backwards in time and kind of taking the earth backwards in time. Because what came through is that I'm really not going backwards. I'm bringing everything forward through history. So I'm undoing what happened in history. We are resetting time. That's very real. There will be no more history. We are resetting time. Okay? So what does Mesopotamia have to do with everything? Well, I'm glad you asked. I am going to show you. Okay? During the return work, again, we started our 13-day Healing and Ancient Hidden Wisdom and Places workshop. I was drawn to do it at nighttime, towards the end of the sun and the beginning of the moonrise, which is new. I never usually do that. Okay? Let's get rid of these annotations. My bad, my bad. So that was new. So we did that. Okay? 13 is very relevant. And what is Mesopotamia? So I had to look it up really quickly. I'm going to show you the video from yesterday. You're going to be able to watch the whole thing. But I will tell you, just watch Judgment, because according to Spirit, everybody's judging me right now, and I do mean everybody. So Mesopotamia, as I did the workshop, I had to look it up. I'm like, where is Mesopotamia? It's the first thing that came through, and I channeled a message from the gods you're about to hear as well. Here's Mesopotamia. Here's the Euphrates River. Here's the Tigris River. Okay? Here's the Nile and the Mediterranean Sea, and this is the map that I pulled up. I'm like, oh, well, geez, that's very relevant. Okay, very relevant. So Euphrates is where I processed Jesus's death, and I undid the Holy Grail there. Okay, it was not of light at all. All right, the real resurrection was them stealing his soul. The Nile I dried a couple years ago now, a little over a year ago. We turned it blood red, called back the fragments of Sekhmet. Dried it blood red as I was purging all these things that will be purged off this planet. They told me there were 13 gates to heaven, not 12, okay? There's 13 gates to heaven. I found that out when I dried the Nile, not 12. And I cleared the dark crystal in the core of the earth back to light. And then that dark crystal shot out to the collective whole for a karmic playback for those that did that, okay? So that's what this workshop has to do with. It's bringing everything through into the now, which means karmic playout has to kick back. Okay, it's undoing the past, and I saw a few timelines through it. You're gonna watch that. okay? But I had no idea. So Spirit was like, Mesopotamia. I'm like, where is that? So here it is. This was the map that I saw, okay? All right. Now, really quickly, before I play the video for you, which I'm about to do, on my channel, I have a specific playlist, which God had me put everything I did in order into. And it's almost everything. The majority of the rest of it is in the path to righteousness, because you can't just let anybody have access to this work. People can't stop judging me to this day in this work, and you don't really want to bring judgment into the work of God. The true work of God is pure light. This work is the return. It's undoing all darkness. So when you choose to bring judgment here, it hurts you. Okay, it's better to just observe. If you don't believe it, then don't be here. But I wouldn't throw judgment here. You just observe it. And it's really hard to deny when we do. Okay, what is relevant to the Mesopotamia work? That's what I'll show you. But this is the entire return as it played out through me, including activating pyramids, activating the Sphinx. What does that mean? It's all right here. Activating a hidden dormant chakra system, undoing the collective and individual shadow, which you have to heal out of. The entire matrix blueprint has to be healed out of. Okay. And then after doing all this work, battling with my DM, the deep blue sea came out. So which one was this? Oh, I remember what image it is. Hang on. There's a specific video when God told me I was battling the deep blue sea. It's this one. Okay. Being attacked, and oh my God, it's clear now. My love for you is deeper than the deep blue sea. As I was battling my twin flame union, which I didn't even know I was one until this work, it was a battle of a lifetime to unite with him. We were uniting internally, and he battled it physically. They battled the return work. I had to hang on for dear life. And it was not easy. My body went through hell. I literally went through hell. And God told me this day, his name was David, and we were waking him up. And I was starting to try to process all of this and understand what was happening to me, because I didn't get it. God told me that I was battling the deep blue sea. My love was deeper than the deep blue sea. If you look that up, it's prophetic. I had to look it up myself. And it means that I was battling El Diablo. That came out in yesterday's video again. Okay? That, the deep blue sea, as well as here is undoing the Holy Grail, where I found out Jesus died in the Euphrates River. Okay? And what the Holy Grail really was. Mind-blowing. And I did that on Christmas Day of 22. Just came through me. I did it live on this channel because God told me to just show up. So I did. And the work just starts processing through me. That's how it works. Okay? Then the Nile. And a lot of other stuff in between. Sekhmet started processing through my energy, and I'm like, what? And that's why my mind was blown. Then all of a sudden, we activated the Nile. Mind you, I undid all the masculine pyramids shortly after this as well. Okay? So masculine pyramids, feminines were first. Then I dried the Nile. This is where they told me there were 13 gates. I released this twice. The first one was the audio version, and then the second one was the video version. Everything I do is recorded, dated. I'm not lying. I'm not making it up. It's all very real. Okay? So here was the second. It was the actual video. I thought we were just getting gifts. I thought we were doing a workshop and the angels were giving us gifts. And then about halfway through, they took my feet, put it in water. I started processing Sekhmet's death. I started processing out all these things. And then all of a sudden, this water started turning blood red. I found out it was the Nile. Then called the light back, cleared the crystal in the core of the earth, shot that out for karmic return, and the Nile dried. And that's when they told me there's 13 gates to heaven, not 12. They lied, they closed off the 13th, and they hid it from mankind. That's very important to understand. Okay? Then after that, I undid the entirety of the matrix system. This one I brought down all the Christ light through the trees. The 144,000 had to be bypassed because they were not ready. Started undoing religion. The Incas and Mayans processed their return and rebirth through Lake Titicaca. And then I birthed New Earth. Then after that, completely undid the money matrix system and the Sistine Chapel part 1 and 2. Very important. That was the actual darkest portal. And this was right before the resurrection of Easter. I did part 2, where the Pope dying on Easter, and I said how he was going to die. Very important. And then like a week later, he did die on Easter. I also did a video right before Easter that told you what Easter really was, and then he truly did die the way I said he would. Okay? In part 2, which is right here. Okay? But a lot of people are judging instead of watching. It's really important to watch this work. You have to watch it all. It's a lot to observe. 2025 predictions came out yesterday also because I said Exodus of Egypt. Okay. So where did I go? Mesopotamia. You ready to watch that? Here we go. And you can watch all these videos. The ones I've pointed out, except for the predictions, are true workshops. Not everything I'm talking. It's the actual work. Okay, prophecy of the three nights, the red dragon, what that was, and undoing Mount Shasta and its relation to it, and what God said about the final pope that's here now. So let's listen to the workshop that came through yesterday. Okay, let's see. I'm going to make this side just a little bigger. Then let's go. 13 days of ancient hidden wisdom with the gods and the angels and all kinds of stuff. Oh, I forgot to look this up. So I already got a channeled message and an area for day 1. The sun is setting right now, so this is about the only time it shines in that window is when it's starting to set. But for the most part, I will be doing these in the evening around sunset to moon up, okay? So anywhere between 7 to 9 p.m. I will be recording these over the next 13 days, including this one. Today is July 13th. You'll have to forgive me. I am not feeling well. It's been a ride. So let me look up really quick where Spirit said, because I am not sure. Oh, okay. So I heard Mesopotamia. And little did I know it's right at the Euphrates River. So Mesopotamia came up for day 1. Okay, I just thought we were going to kind of enter in and maybe pull in the Akasha records, and that's about it. Oh no, we're already getting an area. So Mesopotamia carries Sumerians, Assyrians, Akkadians, and Babylonian civilizations. It is apparently right at the Euphrates River, right by the Mediterranean Sea. Hopefully, see if we can get that in there. No, we cannot. Okay. So, I was trying to show you right here. I don't even really need to question it. It's right the Tigris River and the Euphrates Sea, and Jesus died at the Euphrates. That's where I processed his death. If you guys don't remember that or recall that during the undoing of the Holy Grail, that's what came through there. Don't the Tigris and the Euphrates come into the Nile as well? So I'm shocked because I just channeled a message for day 1. Sorry about, I'm not in my room. I'm in the living room. Not feeling good. So I've been working out here a little bit lately, and it's right at sundown. So I kind of felt like that was important to incorporate. Let me gather myself because I've been really ill. My heart hasn't been right. I had to go get some blood work done, and Spirit says detox, so that's what I'm gonna do. But I mean like truly detox. I need to go without anything for like 3 days except for water, I think. Because earlier my heart started pounding so fast and I passed out. And recently the doctor was like testing my heart again and stuff because when I was little I had Scarlet's fever. Plus all this work that I've done did not bode well with my heart. I've done healings on it and it's been fine, but Spirit's saying the detox, and that's what it's about. So I feel like shite. I really do. So you'll have to forgive me. Okay, let's slow down. I'm going to light the Palo Santo, and I'm going to give you their channeled message. Mesopotamia was the first thing that came through from Zeus, Poseidon, Athena, Sandalphon with Seraphim Angel Energy, and Metatron. Those are the beings that step forward for the message I'm about to give you. I'm lighting the Palo Santo. I have a little fan blowing on me because the kitty, so. So we're just going to start calling in our energy. I'm shocked because I got that. I've never really thought about Mesopotamia before. But I have the Euphrates River. I just didn't even realize it was right there. It's right where the Tigris and the Euphrates River are together and right in the middle of them. So that's important. Okay, so I'm going to call in our energy. I've called in the creator. I've called in the gods and the angels for 1 through 13 days of ascension work. And I'm really sad that we don't really have a front line. It makes me very, very sad. I remember before what happened with Amy and Lucette and them. God had literally asked everybody, can you be the front line? Can you choose love over everything else and be the front line to help others through? And that's just been hitting me hard today, but at least there's a little bit going on, right? We were able to still do this, so I'm at least grateful for that. Okay, so I do have 2 decks I'll pull from as well, but Mesopotamia came through. I don't know if you can see that. Mesopotamia, okay? So day 1 of 13 spaces with the gods and angels. Mesopotamia, and this is what they said, okay, Mesopotamia. I was like, who wants to step forward? What do I need to do? What message needs to come forth? First thing I heard was Mesopotamia. And then they said ancient places, and there's a fly in here, hidden from view. Make no mistake, it was to deceive you. About to knock a fly out with my notebook. A false foundation, living through lies, a hidden world built to disguise. With sudden changes, unmistakable shakes, and I also heard quakes, but oh no, that was next. And sudden drifting and rifting earthquakes. So with sudden changes, unmistakable shakes, a sudden drifting and rifting earthquakes, we are here to allow our world to rise. We are here to allow our world to rise. We're part of the gods of time. That's what they were telling me before I allowed that to register and even did the work. One can no longer hide what's been hidden inside. From Zeus, Poseidon, Athena, Metatron, and Sandalphon, the seraphim angel. Mesopotamia. Then I said ancient places hidden from view. Make no mistake, it was to deceive you. A false foundation, living through lies. A hidden world built to disguise. With sudden changes, unmistakable shakes, and sudden drifting and rifting earthquakes. We are here to allow our world to rise. One can no longer hide what's been hidden inside. Zeus, Poseidon, Athena, Metatron, Sandalphon, the seraphim angel. Okay. And make sure my ringer is off before I pull the cards. My notifications, because they can be distracted. This place we got for day 1 on the 13th of July. Dealing with it. But I get winded, my chest hurts. So
I'm just going to skip the card pull. It talks about allowing love to be the guide. It really does reflect everything in the workshop.
I cannot get
if you
right. It's understanding blueprint, basically. Some really cool things going on, really cool things coming up. Okay, that is our message. Listen to our intuition. Everything should be about love, ambition, creation. We are the creators of our reality, okay? So we can't live in fear. We have to live in ambition and creation. I need this. This is what I want, and this is what I'm going to create. Where do I go to get it, right? Show me co-creation, spirit, right? Intuition must be our guide. Intuition must be our guide, and everything we should do should be spiritual. So that's important. Okay, very important. And I feel so ill. So I'm gonna do the best I can through this one. Oh, I don't feel good at all. Okay, are you ready for day 1? Day 1. I'm like, whew, all sweaty and everything. It's intense. So I'm calling in all of our energy, protections all around. I'm being told to separate our bubbles. So you'll get a bubble, I'll get a bubble. Everybody who will be here's energy is being called in. called on the Creator, all the angels and gods and beings. And in the message, I got the specific beings who were coming forward for this one. And I heard Mesopotamia. So I call in and activate the energy of Mesopotamia. So to begin, just start to relax. My chest really hurts. My heart's really hurting. Just start to relax and calm our space. Closing our eyes and coming into a space of nothingness. Just being present. Just be present. Just listen to my voice. Allow what's going to be what's going to be. Just be here and pretend like you're watching a movie through my voice, okay? Does that make sense? With your eyes closed, you're hearing my voice, you're listening to that, you're doing your best to stay intentionally focused on what I'm saying and present, and allow what's going to unfold, okay? So your job is to kind of keep your focus internally and on my voice. You'll have to forgive me for not feeling well. The struggle's real right now. It's hard to focus on making money when your heart feels like it's about to pound out of your chest. I'm like trying to ignore the pain. So I'm getting like these shooting pains from my chest. Calling in the energy of the moon. There's still the energy of the full moon. And calling in the energy of the sun. As you know, we are in sunset and moonrise right now. And for a moment, I want you to see in your mind's eye just sitting on the earth. I was like, is there a crystal bench? And what I actually see is just sitting on dirt. Like what I saw where Jesus died in the Euphrates River. I didn't see water. I saw sand, like dirt. Almost looked like red clay dirt. And that's what I see. So I want you to see in your mind's eye us just sitting on that dirt. And the pyramids, you can just sense, feel, or know or imagine all the pyramids are surrounding us, behind us, in a circular formation just all over the earth, filled to the brim with Christ's light and shooting up into the earth, to the sky. So it is like a nighttime setting. This was supposed to be nighttime, evening, nighttime. I've never done workshops generally this late. It's usually first thing in the morning, early daytime, 1 o'clock. But Spirit always picks the date and times. I don't, they do. So there's something about these being done in the nighttime towards evening, at least where I'm at. So imagine the skyline is getting darker and darker, and all we see are stars, and then light, God's light, Christ's light coming out of the earth, shooting up through the pyramids and into the sky. And that's the work that I've been doing since 2019, activating those pyramids, filling the crystalline, rebuilding the crystalline grid, filling it with Christ's light. I'm struggling. I'm so sorry. That light is now shooting up into the sky. I was hoping there would be a lot more energy to help carry this workshop. There's not. So I can feel it in my heart a lot. My heart's hurting. It's hurting into my shoulder, like severely. Mesopotamia. I just keep hearing Mesopotamia. Exodus of Egypt. So that was part of 2025 predictions. I remember they were saying Exodus of Egypt, plus I dried the Nile a long time ago. And I want to say is what came through the other day is I heard somebody say, well, if you're Jesus, they weren't talking to me, but it was just something I heard. If they're Jesus, then how are they turning water into wine? You know, make them do that. And I was like, God showed me you did that. And I'm like, what do you mean I did that? I can't do that. And they said the Nile, right when I dried the Nile, that river in Japan turned blood red from a beer plant, like yeast.
That's actually true. Let me show you. So I dried the Nile. The first time I did the Nile was back in 23, I want to say. Right here. I'm not going to play it, but let me show you. So,
I think I did it in 23. Yep, June 24th of 23. Okay, and then if you go to my shorts, right after, like less than 24 hours. Oh yeah, here it is, right here. Why is that the only short that's showing? I don't know, because God wanted me to show it, I guess. Because I have other shorts on this channel, but let's listen. What's up? If you've been paying attention to my videos lately, I have to say, then there was this. This is right after I did the Nile. Japanese sea turns venomous shade of red, alarming residents. And I was like, this is so funny. Listen. Japanese sea, known for its often clear waters, turned into a gruesome shade of red after a beer factory sprung a leak. I thought that was kind of funny. Now, when I dried the Nile, they talked about Sekhmet and the representation of the blood in the Nile. They like poured beer in the Nile or something to stop her rage, or beer in the water, some kind of alcohol in the water to stop her rage. That's the story. But actually, they killed her. Um, they killed Horus and they killed her. They separated them two. And Thoth killed Horus. Thoth was not a god of light. He ended up killing Horus, and they stole the power of the moon, and I talked about all of that. So this is pretty interesting. This is right after I dried the Nile. I'm talking less than 24 hours. So they have a river of red. And don't worry, it's probably food coloring. And it should be harmless. But they woke up to a river of red. I just thought that was the funniest thing, since what I've done, it brought me a little bit of humor. So thought I'd share. The sea of red. Oh my. Yeah. What? That was right after I dried the Nile. And I dried the Nile in 23. Okay? So I thought that was very interesting. That came through. Let's listen.
Whatever spilling into the river, turning water into wine.
And there was a lot more.
I'm like, oh. Yeah. And it kept like it happened less than 24 hours after I dried the Nile. I don't know if you remember that, but I was like, yeah, okay. So everybody takes things either very literal or in a way they're not really meant to be. So we really did kind of turn water into wine. That's what that talks about. The blood river, the Nile. In the Nile workshop, I turned it blood red. And Spirit said, when I asked what that meant, that was the purging of everything. So that's important to mention right now. So a lot of people watch this work and go, well, the Nile didn't turn blood red, so she must be making this up. First of all, I'm not making this up. Just because I say it doesn't mean even I understand the totality of it or when things are going to happen. My 2025 predictions, remember, I said the Exodus of Egypt. All of the rest of my 2025 predictions have been coming true. From fires to airplanes falling out of the sky all year so far, to death of the Pope was in there. A religion being exposed, which I didn't see that coming either. I'm sorry, I'm not on my channel anymore. To much more. So my 2025 predictions have been all coming true. You can't even Biden dying this year, and so far he's been diagnosed with cancer. I was like, okay, yeah, okay. So everything so far has been coming true. Okay. See, I have other shorts on my channel, but isn't that funny that that's the only short video that popped up there? It's like way back in the beginning of my shorts. So I found that very, and look, you can't even see it on here. Weird. God is good. God is good. So in my playlist, you will find all of the stuff that truly is important to see in here, but everything on this channel pertains to the return. Everything. So if you go down here, you'll see my 2025 predictions, and I'll show you where to find those, because Exodus of Egypt also came out in there. Okay? From the fires to much, much more, and it's all been happening. I also told you who would win the presidency, and he did. I told you there would be at least 3 assassination attempts, and there was. Everything that I've told you has truly been happening, but not only that, the work that I did, then these things happen. Okay? So they're all very, very relevant. Very, very relevant. So here is my 2025 predictions. Vatican, quake, Exodus of Egypt, someone dies, and we find out who the DM is, which
I don't know. I just do the work. I don't make these things up. Okay, let's listen to this.
We're going into Mesopotamia area. So it's almost like we're sitting here on this red dirt, and it looks like Euphrates River. And then there's pyramids all around us, and the energy of the Mesopotamia area. So it was like Euphrates.
Something important is this is the map I looked up. You see the Mediterranean Sea, the Nile, Mesopotamia, Euphrates, and the Tigris. Okay, that's what I saw. Listen.
Tigris River, the Nile is right by us as well. So that is where we are. That is where we're going. That is where we are. That is where our energy is being called in. So just allow this setting to implement all around you. We're just relaxing, we're calming, we're letting all of this energy come together. So it's like, thing is when we have more of that front line available, is they're helping to carry this energy for mankind. And I've been doing it while being attacked a lot on my own. I'm doing assisting travel was on my own that second time, especially. Like, it's been a lot. It's been a lot on my system. I actually carry the energy, I carry the light, I do the work to the earth. It's a lot. I'm not just a channel. I'm actually doing the work. They just show me what to do. And they do help participate, but it's a lot on my vessel. Okay. So now we have beings of light body beings just coming forward. I see at least 3 each. Starting to cleanse our system. As I'm handed a scroll. And I see us sitting on the red dirt, and Mesopotamia is heightened, and the Euphrates, Tigris, and the Nile there. I can see it all. It's like, it almost looks like I'm in Egypt setting, like the sand, like the sand. It's like a red clayish sand that I see. I don't see the water necessarily. I see sand. I see the dirt, just like I did when I cleared the Jesus timeline and under the Holy Grail. Because I'm going backwards in time. Okay, so we're going to start kind of going backwards in time, right? So the gods, the angels, the beings that are with us, we have 3 light beings each, are going to start taking our energy back in time. They're going to help me a bit because I am not physically strong enough to carry all this right now. But we're going to start going back in time. So it's like timeline. Where we are on the earth right now is not truth. And even the maps are lies in a large part. They've been created and distorted, and things are hidden, right? Even our conscious, subconscious maps are not accurate, okay? The way we remember things to be is not always accurate to the way they actually were. And that's also kind of how the world has been developed. It's been like a veil of illusion put over everything to cause confusion and distortion, and little truths sprinkled in, but never the full truth. Not enough for you to see to awaken inside. It's all been dimmed, diluted, and divided. So 3 beings that we each get, you might see them, you might sense them, you might feel them, but they're coming into our energy. They're cleansing our auric field. The moon and the sun are above us. All the pyramids are around us, shining light into the sky. And we're sitting in that sand, like dirt, in Mesopotamia. We're starting to go backwards in time. It's almost like you can see or sense this timeline, this rope of time, and it's being pulled, and our energy is being pulled back in time, that of the earth as well. So it's almost like the earth is starting to reverse in time. It's like spinning counterclockwise instead of clockwise. So it's starting to spin counterclockwise instead of clockwise. Tigris, Euphrates. Tigris, Euphrates, Nile, Nile, Egypt. This whole area. Sea of Gibraltar. What is the Sea of Gibraltar? I don't know.
I had to look that up. It was not on this map either, so I had to look it up. It is actually what flows into the Mediterranean Sea and feeds the Nile. I was like, oh, or they call it like the Canal of Gibraltar or something like that. But I kept hearing Sea of Gibraltar, and I looked at. Oh, I think I asked Ziggy or in here, so let's listen.
No. Ziggy, what is the Sea of Gibraltar?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, the Strait of Gibraltar is the entry point into the Mediterranean Sea from the Atlantic Ocean.
Wait a minute. Isn't that what I said? For over there? Hang on, let me look at that map again. Oh my gosh. The Mediterranean Sea is right there. The Mesopotamia, Mediterranean Sea, and that's what pours into the Nile. And they just said Sea of Gibraltar. I had no idea. You see, there's no way I can make this up because I have no idea. I failed geography. Forget it. Like, I'm totally mind blown right now. I love these things. As much as I'm out of it, I'm still like there somehow. Sea of Gibraltar. Let me go right back in. Sorry. Oh, I'm not feeling well. Forgive. We're also kind of starting to go backwards in time. That's when I heard Sea of Gibraltar. We're going back on that timeline, and the Earth is starting to spin counterclockwise rather than clockwise, like a reversal of time. So we are going into an ancient space. We are going into this space that there is a map for, but not in this timeline. They're taking me backwards in time. We're going backwards in time. Ancient spaces, ancient wisdom. So the Akasha records is involved. So Saint Germain is very much present with the Akasha records of all things creation. So the earth has her own Akasha records as well as mankind. Okay. So both of those are very much so open, present, and encasing this energy of this healing. Sea of Gibraltar, I keep hearing that. Mediterranean Sea, which goes into the Nile. And as I'm starting to go backwards in time, what I'm getting is almost like a fault line through there. I don't know whether if there is one, but I'm starting to see the earth kind of rift, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a like the earth is rifting. It's almost as if you take a ship and you suddenly start to change its direction. The earth is responding to that, and it's almost like a sudden like a stop to things, and the earth rifting a little bit.
So I just looked it up. There are major fault lines in and near the Mesopotamia region, which currently located primarily within Iraq. These area lines at the convergence zone of the Arabian and Erusian tectonic plates. The main fault lines influencing Mesopotamia are Zagros Fold Thrust Belt, East Anatolian Fault, EAF, Abu Gir Euphrates Fault. This active fault zone marks the boundary between the Mesopotamia foredeep and the stable inner platform in the western desert of Iraq. So I didn't look that up yet. There is a fault line right through here.
Like almost the energy clashing, if that makes sense. And I'm going further backwards in time, further backwards in time.
So I'm going to also look up if there was a major earthquake. Was there a major earthquake near the Mesopotamia fault lines? Yes, there have been major earthquakes near this. One significant event is the 2017, but that's not far back enough. I would like throughout history. Although in the recent times are going up to 7.0 over there. So there's a 499 Nicopolis earthquake, 1939. Wow. Of the whole of the fault segment that caused the 1939 Erzincan event. 360 kilometers in total. Now I'm in America where we do miles and things, but never one of a 9.9 over there is what they're saying. I don't know. So there has been in history major fault line eruptions there.
So I'm getting this image of, sorry, kitty's at my feet. I'm getting this image of almost like a chain gang. Ouch. Like it's not this timeline. Almost like 600 BC time frame. And I'm seeing these people and they're like chained together. They're all chained together and they're walking through there. And there were slaves. So there were slaves weren't only like Black people, right? These were probably Mesopotamians. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. The people that lived over there at that time frame. So they didn't look as white as me, right? They looked like they were leathery skin, like out in the sun and out in the dirt, and parched. There didn't seem to be a lot of water over there at this time. Like I feel like I need water. I need water. And I'm seeing them being forced to build. I don't know if it's pyramids or what's happening. I'm not getting a clear picture on what. Just like they're being forced. They're being forced to do things. They're being forced to build. They're chain ganged. That's what I'll call it, right? It's like literally at the waist and their hands. They are tied together, like in a row. All these people, and they would almost like whip you if you didn't comply. That sounded weird. So as I'm in this time frame, I see the three beings of light doing something to our auric field, something to our body, and allowing us to start to purge, which is allowing also a connection to the earth of purging, which is hurting my chest. My kitty is very needy, does not like to be alone, loves to be on my lap for everything I do. So it pulled me out a little bit, so I'm trying to go right back in. Sea of Gibraltar. So there's almost like this takeover of land that I'm getting an image of. It's like Sea of Gibraltar, and I also see like large like ships takeover of land, and then this chain gang. And this is like BC, and they're like forced to build things. It might be pyramids. I'm not sure. A disgraceful use of power is what I'm hearing. Disgraceful use of power. So I'm handed this key, and I'm like taking this key and sticking it into the core of the earth. And I need to pull us back further on the timeline as I'm doing that. And this is what I'm seeing. I don't know, the key is very large, and I stick it into the core, and I turn it like a quarter turn clockwise. And remember, we're kind of going backwards in time. So the earth and everything is turning a bit counterclockwise. And I'm pulling us further and further back in time. And I see Zeus, lightning, the god of lightning. And I just see him creating these great lightning storms, just the sky is like turning so dark and black and gray, and Zeus is like creating this massive lightning storm that is about to hit the Sea of Gibraltar. A massive storm about to hit the Sea of Gibraltar. And then I see this tree of life, and it was like cut in half. I almost want to say like lightning stormed in half, but I know it wouldn't have been Zeus doing that. So what they're trying to show me isn't quite clear. But it's like the tree of life just got ripped right in half. So our beings of light, as we are doing this, are removing more energy out of our system. So we are going into ancient spaces even within our soul. Okay, we're connecting back to the purity of our soul, ancient spaces of the earth. What I'm doing to the earth, we are also aligning to internally. Okay, so there is work going on within us. And I'm doing the best I can. Sorry, this one's a little bit wonky. Sudden storm, a sudden rift, a sudden drift, a sudden storm, like this massive storm, larger than any storm you've ever seen before. And I do mean larger than any storm you've ever seen before. And I feel like I'm mixing today, present time, and the past, and they're kind of coming together. That's the best way I could describe this.
So everything I say is always very important. Every detail, everything I say always matters. So I kept feeling like I was in today, but also the past. So I don't know if they're saying we're going to have a storm there or if it happened in the past. They were combining both timelines.
It's as if I'm pulling the past. Whenever I kept pulling the past like this, I'm not just taking us backwards. I'm pulling the past into the present. And that's more clear now. I'm pulling the past, ooh, the chills, into the present. We're not going backwards. I'm pulling the past into the present. I'm pulling the past into the present. I'm pulling it into the now. And this great storm of the Sea of Gibraltar, a great storm and a great flood and a great storm, just massive storm, much like one that came and suddenly cracked the tree of life in half. But that was not ordered from the gods, unless maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe they took the power from what was here. I don't know. Nope, I don't think that was intentional. That was because of the changes that were occurring to the earth, being forced, the light being taken and forsaken. Okay, so I'm kind of bringing that time into now, and I keep hearing Sea of Gibraltar. Great.
Very important fact about the work that I do on every timeline. Jesus and Mary Magdalene, Sekhmet and Horus, and Adam and Eve as they ripped apart the twin souls. Adam and Eve were ripped apart. Tree of life cut in half. That kind of makes sense to that. Horus and Sekhmet ripped apart. Jesus and Mary Magdalene very brutally ripped apart. And that's what I was repairing on all three timelines and coming back together with my twin flame through. Our souls literally repaired on every one of those levels, and it was very intense. I had to process a lot. It took a lot out of me. Carrying my DM's light when he died took a lot out of my vessel. So the tree of life being ripped in half had a lot of meaning. It wasn't just as simple as a tree of life being ripped in half. It's very layered.
Quake, great shake, a great storm at the Sea of Gibraltar. And like this wall of illusion just crumbling as I'm bringing the past forward. And we are healing through these timelines at the Sea of Gibraltar, Mesopotamia area. Also very relevant to Sekhmet, Horus. All of these timelines are combining because I'm seeing lots. So I see Jesus and Mary Magdalene, I see Sekhmet and Horus, and even Adam and Eve with the tree of life. So all time is coming into one. It's like I'm pulling it all to the present space at this area, Mesopotamia, Sea of Gibraltar. And I'm now being drawn to read from the scroll. And then I all of a sudden see crows coming in and flying all around. And when I speak this scroll, it'll be like if lightning, energy, bolts of energy are just shooting out of my vocals. Through the moon and the sun, through the moon and the sun, I shall speak. Through the moon and the sun and the lightning and the sea, through the moon and the sun, I shall speak. Through the moon and the sun and the lightning and the sea, Poseidon and Zeus beside me. Through the moon and the sun, I shall speak. The heavens are open.
That's important.
Above me.
The Nile.
Moon and the sun, I shall speak. The lightning and the water, the sea, the sea, the sea, the great blue sea. Now remember, when I was battling with my, you do remember this, Amy would have, but she chose not to stay the course and rise. Unfortunately, our front line is gone. But God told me when I almost died, right before my DM did die, that I was battling the deep blue sea. And this memory is coming forward to the now, the Sea of Gibraltar, the sea, the sea, the sea, the sea, the sea, the sea, the lightning, the sea, the moon and the sun. The heavens are upon thee. It's time to undo all that's been done and taken from me. Kumpala etere, la vea yo toala, etere con todo, for you see, we beat the deep blue sea. I won the deep blue sea when I looked it up because my DM's name is David. We were waking him up, battling the deep blue sea, and it represented El Diablo. Darkness, the false reality, tree of life. This is all relevant and beyond what I can even comprehend right now myself. All the way, but it makes sense to all the work that I did. So our hearts are open, the Akasha records are open, and we are like sitting in time. We are sitting in the Akasha records. The light beings are with us. We have gone into ancient spaces, and this is just day one. I thought it was going to be an intro day. Nope. We have already begun. Mesopotamia, Sea of Gibraltar. Through the moon and the sun and the lightning and the sea. I will now read from the scroll. Todo punto la yenta o lo unto walai. Wala kunta wala yenta la yatarahi lo wa. So I get the image of like different worlds, different timelines combining into one and bringing everything to now. So the tree of life being cracked in half, the moon and the sea, the lightning, everything coming together right now to the now, to the now, to the now. So all timelines, even if this is hard to fathom, from Adam and Eve to Jesus and Mary Magdalene to Sekhmet and Horus to the now, all in the now. Then I see like this. So I see like as if I'm my DM as well. And I see the moon glowing on my chest. And I see my staff of the sun and the moon and the sun above me. And they're lighting up as I'm saying this. They're almost like amplifying, like expanding. And a storm of lightning. A massive storm, more massive than anything you've ever seen. misuse of power, misuse of light. Wala So what I see as I'm reading the scroll, the words become light. They're just glowing off of the scroll, and it's as if God is spellcasting. Okay, it's a spellcasting with the gods in the language of God. And the moon and the sun are expanding and growing, and Zeus, with the lightning storm, is growing and flowing in the sea. The sea, buried treasures greater than thee. The sea, who is moved. The sea. So it's almost as like the earth was rearranged in a way it was never meant to be. From land to the sea. And I even see the flood, the great wall of water. The Black Sea. The Sea of Gibraltar. Wala kunto umbulo atara ili itantayo wala yatara ili kintayo wala otoolo watara ili kintara indara ila yantorwa. So I see something else in the timeline when I was speaking that language, like crops and abundance, and then all of a sudden a dried up. Water is crucial to survival. Exodus of Egypt. Sorry, it's taking everything I've got. So the beings of light are now reaching into our timeline, our heart, our Akasha records through our heart, and they're pulling out strings. Now, in the end of this, you will also get a message pertaining to your past life through the gods, right? So it's like, however that's going to play out. I will not dictate that, but you will get your own personal message as well, probably towards the end. But they're pulling out a timeline healing sequence that pertains to this. So the great wall of water, like a big sudden wall of water, the Black Sea meets the Sea of Gibraltar. Make no mistake, the end has already begun. And not all will handle the changes that are already coming now. Their complacency is blinding. It's not about seeing. It's a return of what is ours. So it's like, as I'm bringing all those timelines into the now, because here's what they're telling me, what they're showing me is what I'm doing is I've already brought the return of Christ. I already undid all the darkness, and I birthed new earth. And new earth is coming into the now. So I'm undoing all of those things from important areas of the earth, and I'm bringing it into the now. So if you really truly think about this, the Nile is the final portal. And I dried it out, and it turned blood dry. The Sea of Gibraltar, Mesopotamia. We've got the Tree of Life. We've got all the timelines combining into one and bringing it into the now. So we are bringing that area into the now on the earth. I hope this makes sense. Activating ancient spaces. Activating ancient wisdom. Unburying it and bringing it all to the now. And as it comes into the now, it must come into new earth. So that means all the darkness will break and crumble and fall, and a karmic spit out once and for all. And then I see that lightning storm, like crack, massive lightning storms, and the Sea of Gibraltar just like splits in two walls of water. That's the image I've got. Oh, my broken foot's starting to throb, which I'm still healing that, by the way. I'm just a mess. This journey kicked my ass, y'all. I needed more to carry this light, but unfortunately, we don't have that. Yeah, their hearts are too buried in shadow to hear the call. They're actually saying there's a lot of judgment towards me right now. A lot. It's deafening.
A lot of
From
judgment
all areas.
towards
Not one is outside of that, is what they're saying.
So you just say not one person is not judging me right now. Love it.
So I'm letting that process. So as I was bringing everything into the now, it's very important you understand is that I'm reaching back through the history of time all the way back to the beginning of time, and I'm bringing everything forward into the now on earth. And the Nile, Mesopotamia, like I couldn't make this area up if I tried. Sea of Gibraltar wasn't even on the map I looked at. I had to look that up. Sea of Gibraltar was not on the map I looked at. I will screenshot it and show you. Like it wasn't. I didn't know about that one. All I saw was the Mediterranean Sea. So I couldn't make this up if I tried. I had no idea. This is all making sense in my mind, and it's quite fast. So remember, they're pulling out a timeline from the heart space. And this is a timeline of healing. It will purge through our reality. So we do have venting dreams. We have lots of things where we might get like little flashes of past coming up. And it's not about to be steeped in it. It's just about processing the death of it and allowing everything from that area that was done to die off and the truth rising into the now. So everything must process into new earth. Just like all people are rising through every portal, the earth chunks are also doing that as well. So this is vast. Okay, yes, they brought the new earth here, blah, 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 but there was a lot of history here and a lot of things being hidden. And so we are going into ancient spaces and we are bringing them into the now, which is causing a purge of the karmic cleansing. Everything must come into the now because all time is being reset.
Yes.
This is a great reset of mankind. So I've talked about that. Our past is undone. We won't have one anymore. This is it. And if you don't rise, you will go all the way back to square zero. It's a great reset of mankind. The Sea of Gibraltar is now set in stone. The Sea of Gibraltar is now set in stone. Mesopotamian. So all those things that I see throughout history, you guys, there was plagues, there was drought, famine occurred. Somehow the striking down of the tree of life came through and all of that. I don't think the tree of life was over there necessarily. I would have to look at a larger map because I do know where the Garden of Eden was. It's in my book. So I'll have to look at that a little closer, but somehow it's all involved in all of this right now. Now, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, that is where Jesus died. And so the resurrection occurred also near there in Jerusalem, and like the Vatican, and it's all connected.
False resurrection was not of light. Jesus was burned, by the way. There was no body. They stole his soul.
So for day one, I'm already like struggling to be in this space. It's a lot of energy trying to process through me, and my body is really not able to handle it. It's why I need to detox very quickly. So I apologize for that.
So it's very important to understand that we are in the end of ways. Some people call it the end of time. Some people are saying the earth is it's the end of everything. That's not the case necessarily. But all things are being reset. So what happened throughout history, the past, our past lifetimes, if you choose that you're not ready to learn your lessons and your karmic lessons, you have to start over. Others of us are healing them and rising. Okay, so that is the ascension. That is the split. That is the two timelines. However, there's one more with the fallen just become the fallen. They get detached from the light. They are completely just left into nothingness. And they have their own karmic kickback. Everybody has to clear their karma because the energy coming in forces that. Okay, you will get a karmic kickback. That's why in order to rise, you have to actually heal your karma, not contracts, not burn those contracts, not detach from the people you're connected with those contracts. You have to heal them. You have to unite with twin flames because we're not meant to be separate. By healing your karma, by internally healing and becoming the best self. And those that choose not to rise truly will be in a restart, but it won't be here because Earth is no longer a karmic blueprint. It's no longer a veil of illusion, and that's what this is all about. Okay, so day one, we went to where the end is for the ascension. So I found that very, very, very interesting. The Nile, when I dried it, they showed me that was the 13th gate to heaven, and I opened up the heaven's gates, and that is the final portal of ascension. The river of justice, something also very important on my page, was the river of justice. And apparently that was also the river of the Nile. So I had to go through that recently. I showed you guys that. I processed the river of justice. And I'm going to take you there. I could have swore it's on here. It is on here somewhere. Because it was very recent. Okay, right before these prophecies started coming through. Here it is. Truth, blood moon, river of justice, the Nile. So I actually had to walk through this river. And then it turned silver and gold. And I processed like the Jesus timeline and all kinds of stuff. And so I got my heart review shown to me. And they said I left no stone unturned. And it turns out that that was the Nile and what they call the river of justice. And so that's what the Nile truly is to cross that life, right? The Nile is about life. So drying the Nile, does that mean it will physically dry out? I don't know. But what I'm telling you is that's the end. We are resetting as a mankind. What was done is now undone. And God promised that return. And it did happen. So this workshop, that again, I had no idea what was coming. I just kept saying, okay, we're going backwards. We're going backward to ancient spaces. And it turns out that we are erasing time, basically. I mean, that's the best way to put that. And I told you guys the other day it was coming, and then we went to, on the 13th day, where there's 13 sessions, on the 13th of July, we started. Okay? So it's a big deal. And then my predictions for 2025 were the Exodus of Egypt. What does it all mean? We have to put it in our pockets and wait to see, but I, for one, will not judge it. I know it's very real. I can't deny it. It's beyond me, and I'm the one processing this through. It's been that way the whole time. I never, ever fully knew. I have to process it. It wasn't until the end of the journey that I fully understood who I was and what I was doing. And I am still just me, okay? Like, this is beyond what our minds can fathom. And they told me in here, while doing the return work, that there is no one person outside of throwing judgment at me right now. So I ask you, out of all of the kookalukas, out of all the weird things on this earth, out of all the lies and deceitful, why am I the one who's most judged? When my whole life has processed right out in front of all of you. It's been my life. So we truly are in the end, and it is a great reset. Okay, and I've been saying that since day one. And it turns out that everything will be undone, and we are starting over as a species, where God is on the earth again. The earth is God again, heaven on earth. And those who choose not to heal all of their past and karma and the matrix blueprint, and they're not giving their power to the shadow and rise, are free. And those who choose not to have to start all over again. And that's what they've been saying for a very long time about the ascension. Okay? So, welcome to the end. What is the end? This is the end. So much love to all of you. I will choose unconditional love for you, even if you don't do the same for me. Until next time, my friends, have a beautiful day. Today is day 2. I don't know what's coming. I don't know if I'll share it. I generally share the biggest things that pertain to the return. It all does, though. So much love.